brother of Grand Prix man Brian Anderson, goes from gate 3. He suffered a desperate injury just a couple of years back, a broken thigh. And on the outside is Craig Watson. Brilliant form, the Aussie, when we saw him last week at Poole, with his best performance yet for Poole. But both of these clubs, our starting marshal John Finch moves away. Our referee tonight is Big Bates. Away they go on the inside. Greg Hancock is first to the bend. Powering round the outside of him is Scott Nichols in white. Tailed off at the rear now, Craig Watson. Coming through into third place, Jan Anderson. But a marvellous start by Greg Hancock, and just like a home rider.
Yeah, Greg did exactly what he needed to do. Is that get out in front and show Scott Nichols that he knows this track just as good as he does, even though it's close to his home. But Jan Anderson did a really good job of making sure he can get in there, but he's lost it now. He's relegated down to 4th position.
Yes, right at the back. We can't see a picture there, but Greg Hancock out front going well ahead of Scott Nichols. Back in third place now. Craig Watson has picked it up. Jan Anderson riding Tony's Farm Spine is struggling somewhat now at the rear, but the pressure with a lap and a quarter to go is being put on Greg Hancock by Scott Nichols, but Hancock is fast and furious with 3/4 of a lap to go. Greg Hancock is surely going to take this victory. Half a lap now. The guest rider Greg Hancock, the American, tonight with Ipswich, is going to do everything that Chris Louis could have done to take that. Ahead of his second place in white, Scott Nichols for Poole. Craig Watson in yellow takes the third place for a share of the points at 3-all here. And that is exactly what Poole wanted, but Greg Hancock, that man there, has done his bit as the guest to take the heat and ride absolutely brilliantly from tapes to checkered flag.
Out of the gate, you were looking at us for half the first lap before you went in that corner.
Exactly. The bike was working really well, and it was hooking up really well, so if I was looking at you, I didn't mean to.
Oh, we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
we quite liked it. Actually. We actually
Let's
thought,
take a look at it, and you tell us what you saw when you see yourself now, because I think you will notice you did come across a little bit.
Well, the thing came out of the start really good, and as it started to get to the corner, it was taking off. And I just tried to get it down and make a good smooth first corner, but there's a lot of grip there coming around that first lap. I could really feel the bike pulling hard.
Yep.
And
looked like really hooked up hard coming out of turn 1.
Totally. It was so positive. It felt really nice just to be able to go in and keep the bike low, and it was driving the whole time. But
in actual fact, it looked like you were concentrating on doing that for 4 laps.
Exactly. I thought about trying to maybe move up a little bit towards the end there, but it was getting such a nice smooth line there. I tried to find a smoother line and try to make it a little bit more consistent.
All right.
Any of the Suffolk farmers can tell you what the weather's going to be doing tonight, because that's going to play a part, isn't it? We've had a bit of drizzle.
Exactly. I just said to Kelvin before, after about 2.5 laps where we were riding on the riding line, the drizzle's raining on that, and it's making it a little bit greasy, slimy. You can feel it, but let's hope that it stays away. Keep a little moisture in the track anyway.
Well, you got a little work on your hands tonight. We'll let you get back to the pits and get prepared again.
Nice
Thanks,
ride.
well done.
Next to him, Jeremy Doncaster, the oldest rider currently in the elite league, because the next oldest is next to me right now. Nigel Sadler, the guest for Poole, goes in yellow. On the outside, it's Chris Neath, and I can tell you his form is tremendous. 74 points he's been paid for in his last 6 meetings for Premier League Newport. The 18-year-old Newport captain, the youngest captain in Britain. He's some rider, Sam.
That's right. I tell you, Chris has got a lot on his shoulders, but hopefully he takes it, amongst, this is the elite league. I'm in the Premier League normally, and if he just goes out there and just gets this race over with and gets something out of it. But this is a tough competitor, and he can make something out of nothing, I'm sure. But let's just see what happens after this start.
Chris Neath, the rider in blue. The man in red there looking down now is his partner, the veteran Jeremy Doncaster. But away they go, and coming round the outside in blue is Chris Neath, but he's taken wide and into the fence, not the starting line. And his partner Jeremy Doncaster, the referee, is stopping that one. The red lights are on, the fence has been demolished. We're going to have to see what the equation is here, because on that second bend, Chris Neath, ironically, I think, taken by his own teammate Jeremy Doncaster in towards that fence. Sam, we'll have a look at that in a moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. To be fair, Chris did everything right. He made a good start. Jeremy should just have had a little bit more confidence in this kid, because he is, like I said, he is very good. Let's just have a look right here at the start. Chris just lets the clutch out. Jeremy's in 2 right there in the red helmet color. Comes in, he does his job, but there comes Chris on the outside. Jeremy should have been stopping his bike right now. Chris had nowhere to go, and he went up to the fence right here, just touches it with his back wheel. Man, did a great job to hang on to that. Like I said, that's a quality rider right there, Tony. And there's another shot of him right now. And I'm just hearing in the back of my ears that the Blue's been disqualified for knocking down the fence, but the fence shouldn't have fell down, man. That guy was on top of it. He was doing his job, doing the best he could.
A little bit unfortunate, because we'll see it again here, Sam. As you said, he went round the outside there, and it looked to me as his own teammate that took him wide. That wasn't the best sort of riding, and Chris Neath a shade unlucky.
Yeah, that's right. We did hear from Greg that the inside is fairly grippy. Hopefully somebody should have told Jeremy that.
There at the end. Yeah, I was managed to make a good start and come across off 4, and I don't know who it was on the inside, just kept going towards the fence and left me no room on the outside there, but never mind, that's life.
Frustrated though to be disqualified?
Oh yeah, definitely, you know, I made a good start and I don't know who it was on the inside, but just left me no room on the outside there.
You've been going really well in the Premier League. I think you've got something like 68 points in the last 6 matches. You know, you must be feeling quite confident.
Yeah, you know, riding well at the moment. Team's struggling a bit, so I'm having to do something. So it's a bit of a shame really because we had such a good year last year, but it's all coming together now. Like you say, riding with a lot of confidence, but just disappointed about our last race.
All right, Chris, well, bad luck for this heat, but we'll see you soon in another one and get on with sorting yourself out.
They can do, but let's see what happens anyway.
Well, Jeremy Doncaster, the veteran, the 39-year-old in red, is on his own here now, and he could be squeezed out here, but he doesn't. He goes wide again on the inside in white, and picking it up is Emil Lindquist. Taking with him his partner, Nigel Sadler, the guest rider from Peterborough. And now Jeremy Doncaster is struggling at the back, and this will be a 5-1 in favour of the visitors if it stays like this, and it will very much start to go the way of Poole. Jeremy Doncaster's line at fault, I think, on that bend, and now for the visitors, it's going well, Sam.
Yeah, well, Jeremy really needs to pull something out here, but he's getting further and further behind here because the Poole boys right now are doing a great job of team riding, even though they're not together right now. But Nigel Sadler right now is just doing what he's got to do and make sure he stays in that second place.
Emil Lindquist, the rider in the white helmet colours, the 22-year-old Swede with a lap to go. Looks as if he has this sewn up for the visitors for the Poole Pirates. His teammate and partner, Nigel Sadler, acting as a guest, of course, but the gap is closing with Jeremy Doncaster making ground round that top end. If Donkey can get this right, we see him there, but he's not going to make it, and it's certainly going to be a 5-1 to the visitors, and from Poole's point of view, absolutely perfect for them to give them a 5-1 victory. It means they now lead by 8 points to 4 with 2 heats gone and 13 to go. And the heat winner there, Emil Lindquist, who's had a great record recently when riding against Ipswich. Goes for Ipswich in blue on the inside gate. Gate 2 is Gary Havelock, the Poole captain, the 1992 world champion. Tony Sfarb, twice times Czech champion. He goes from gate 3 on the outside. Lars Goodestad.
Yeah, right now, Gary...
Just the third of them. The crowd expectant here. Our starting marshal, John Finch, marches away. Referee Mick Bates lets the tapes go, and into the first bed goes Lars Goodestad. A tremendous ride by him, being tracked now by Tony Sfarb. Sfarb puts the pressure on the inside. In third place, Matty Furrion. A share of the points if it stays like this. Disappointment for Gary Havelock at the back. I don't know what happened to him at the start, but this man out front, Lars Goodestad, is flying, and Tony Sfarb is going to chase him.
I tell you, blow everything out the window I just said about who's going to do what. Lars Goodestad is such a trapper, and he took advantage of getting right out in front and dominating the first corner now, and he's left the Ipswich boys second and third, and Gary Havelock is actually in fourth position right now.
Havelock really struggling at the back. Perhaps something wrong with his setup, something wrong with his gearing, but who knows? But nothing wrong with Lars Goodestad. He may have trapped like lightning, but since then he's kept his wheels in line, picked up the speed, and with every turn of his wheel has extended that lead. He's got now time down the back straight to look back. He sees Tony Sfarb some distance away. In blue in third place is Matty Furrion. That's how it's going to stay. That's how it finishes. And with 3 points apiece for that heat, the second in 3 heats with the points shared, it's now 7 points to the home team Ipswich, 11 to the visitors from Poole. Still a 4-point lead, and a great win for that man who trapped like greased lightning.
So I just put my bike across a bit, and I thought I've got to make a flyer here, you know, and get there first. So.
Exactly what you got. How are the conditions out there? It seemed to be a bit lumpy over here in corner 1 and the last turn there.
I must admit, normally here is quite sort of a bit more clay on and a lot more grip than today, so the track's actually slick.
Do you think, is that drizzle that's just gently coming down, does it make it a bit greasy in the corners?
Don't know, I mean, I was here about 5 o'clock, and I mean, the track looks really slick then. Normally it's a lot of grip here, so
right.
I always struggle at Ipswich, but...
I was going to say, it's possibly not one of your favourite tracks.
No, absolutely not, but the conditions are really good.
All right.
All right, well done to Lars. Good win for you, but...
Made quite a bad start, really, and with a bit of rain, the track's got really slippery, and my bike's just not working at all. It won't go forward.
You look like you got squeezed a bit at the, I must admit, when, you know, after the game.
No, I just didn't make a good start, and no, as I say, the bike's just not working at all around the track. Just spinning, won't go forward, so you've got to do some major changes.
What are you going to change?
Don't know yet. I'm going to change bikes.
It might be a good call after that last performance. Get on with it. Okay, thanks.
Here.
On the inside is Chris Neath, somewhat unlucky first time out, the rider in blue, the guest from Newport. In gate 2, it's Nigel Sadler, a guest for Poole tonight from Peterborough, riding in yellow in place of the injured Alan Rossiter. Greg Hancock goes from gate 3. Mark Laram, who we know can ride from the outside, and Mark Laram can jet from that outside. It's going to be interesting first bend, Sam.
Yeah, but Chris Neath right now has got to get 4 laps in, so Greg's probably thinking right now, I got to worry about Mark more than I got to worry about helping my partner, at least in the first corner. Nigel Sadler's also a threat, so it's going to be interesting to see what Greg can pull up here, but Mark's going to be going for it.
Well, I've just got a feeling there'll be 2 races here. I think it's going to be Hancock against Laram out front, and the 2 others going for the minor places. But who knows? We can prove wrong. Our starting marshal will move away smartly. He does. Up fly the tapes, and away they go. The 2 big guns. Greg Hancock gets there first, but Laram we know can do it round the outside. And look at the race down that back straight. No rub at all. 2 of the world's best line abreast here as they come round that bend. And Tony fabulous ride, and the battle still has 3 laps to go.
Boy, I tell you what, Tony, these guys are going. Look at Mark work that bike. He's just all over the place right now. Greg knows he's got Mark behind him. I cannot make a mistake. He talked about riding the inside earlier, but he's got to move around because Mark knows this track better than anybody when it comes to moving all around.
And Greg Hancock knows where he is. As I said, at the back in yellow, it's Nigel Sadler in 3rd place. Chris Neath is tailed off at the rear, but the battle is all about these 2 great rounders, riders up front. And at the moment, Greg Hancock, the Californian, is in charge in pole position, is now set for his 2nd heat victory of the night. Down the back straight, the man in red who rides for Coventry is guesting here tonight for Ipswich, is doing the witches proud with that heat victory, with time to look back ahead of Mark Laram in white. 3rd place goes to the man in yellow, Nigel Sadler. Once again, a split of the points, and that means that the visitors lead by 14 points to 10 with 4 heats gone, and plenty more excitement to come from these 2. The handshakes there, well merited.
Happen here when I'm talking with you here. Look at Gregory just pick it up, gives Mark a little bit of an elbow and says, okay, let's go for it. Now watch Mark here. He just works the outside, says, I don't care. I'll go to the dirt as far as you want to push me. And guess what? It's a race right now. They're both elbow to elbow. And how exciting is that? But I tell you what, Gregory knows he's just got to give Mark that little bit of room, and Mark can take it. Here's another shot right now. Mark's just trying to get the bike down. Greg settled down now, is in there. Oh, poor Chris Neath and Nigel Sadler are taking, like I said, 2 races. But beautiful drag race right now going into that turn 3. But old Gregory come out on top. But I tell you what,
Tony's Farm, gate 3, Scott Nichols, the local lad, though, now riding for Poole in white. And on the outside, the Slovenian, already qualified, the Continental Champion for next year's Grand Prix. That's Matti Furjan, who
has maybe made the track a little bit better on the outside.
Here they go. We'll have to see what happens from the outside, because it's Matti Furjan, but stalling on the line is Craig Watson. He's not made it. He's off the track. And now this is exactly what Ipswich want, but they don't want this, because Scott Nichols has gone through for Poole to take the lead. And the best, if it stays like this, that Ipswich can hope for is a share of the points. That was a brilliant ride by Scott Nichols to catch the Ipswich pair napping.
Yeah, Scott definitely showed how powerful he is on this track. He really didn't make a good start, but he made a good first corner, and right now he's just holding on to his bike. It's just working really good for him. And he basically just, this is mine, I can do it. And he's really working the track. He's extending his lead right now, and he's going really good, Tony.
Truly unfortunate for his partner, Craig Watson, the Aussie in form at the moment, but stalling on the line. We'll find out more about that later. But into the final lap goes Scott Nichols with time to spare, opening up what's now some 20 metres his lead in front of Tony's Farm. To take the checkered flag was Scott Nichols here. Scott Nichols will take that ahead of, in red in 2nd place, Tony's Farm. 3rd in blue, somewhat processional, that was Matti Furjan. For the 4th heat in 5 now, the points have been shared at 3-all, and now the visitors from Poole lead by 17 points to 3rd.
I think a joining link come off the rear chain. The boys just changed the length of the bike, you know, so they shortened it up a little bit, and they changed the links, and possibly I think one of the links has come off for it to come off at the starting line like that. So I'm not really sure. I haven't been back there yet, but that's what I figure happened.
How come you're smiling?
I'm trying not to. I'm not very happy. Every race costs, you know, and the way the format works, you only get 4 rides, and if you break down in one of them, you're only left with 3. So, no, I'm not very happy.
I mean, fortunately for Paul, Scott went well though and got the 3 points.
Yeah, I was fortunate when I looked around and Scott was leading the race. You know, I thought, well, that'll keep us in front. So, hopefully, you know, that doesn't affect the final score.
Okay, Craig, well, go back to your bike and sort your pits out, and we'll see you in a later.
Missed the start, but I've been hopeless at the start. I know what's up with me, and just managed to, you know, when I got the first one, I saw Craig obviously right there, so I just cut straight back, and there's some good grip around the inside, and managed to get a run up the inside of Tony down the back straight, and just held off.
Are the conditions changing at all?
Yes, the constant drizzle is starting to get a little bit greasy going into the corners, and especially this first turn is greasy going in, and then there's some little bit of dirt mid-turn, and it's giving you a little bit of a tricky ride, so I eased off on the last sort of lap just to try and get an easier ride.
You've got plenty of speed, Scott. Even though you ran second in your first ride, you were pushing Greg all the way, and then when you hit the front in that second ride, you seem to pull away no problem.
Yeah, the bike seems to be really working good, and right in the first race with Greg in front, the dirt, there's no dirt outside, so you just a bit of a follow leader, and he was riding tight and just trying to keep out of the way of his dirt, and
sure.
Maybe later on in the meeting you might have been able to get a bit of a run, but it's going good at the moment, just hope it carries on.
Sure. We just had your mate Richard Wright in here. He's obviously been impressed with what you're doing. Putting on a show for him tonight.
Yeah, he's a little bit further up the old ladder than me, though, isn't he? But yeah, it's good, I sort of knew Richard. He used to do grass straight when he was little, so that's how I got to know him. But obviously he's doing good for himself, and I hope he carries on doing well as well.
What about the old Ipswich town? How do you reckon they'll do in the old Premier League?
Well, Peter made a couple of signings and that, so I hope they do well. So obviously I'm not a big football fan, but it's my hometown, so obviously I want them to do well, and with Richard being in there, I hope things go good for him.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll let you get back to the pits.
Okay. Jan Anderson going for Ipswich in blue from the inside. Mark Laram goes for Poole from gate 2 in white. In red is Matty Furry and the rider replacement for Chris Louis in this one for Ipswich. And on the outside, Emil Lindquist, the man who won the reserve heat, that heat number 2. 2 heat victories so far, both going to Greg Hancock for Ipswich. 2 for Lars Gunnarsson and Emil Lindquist for the visitors. Away they go here now, and picking it up in red. Here is Matty Furrier. He's been out of the track, a brilliant start, but look at the ram coming through on the inside. The pressure is on. Back in third place in yellow is Emil Lindquist. Tail off at the rear now is Jan Anderson, who's struggling, but look at Mark Laram. We've got a race on our hands here.
I tell you, Matty's showing his style here right now. He knows he's in the Grand Prix next week. If he's going to make a showing, it's going to be right now. He's leading the world champion, or I should say the guy leading the world championship right now, and he's actually doing pretty good. He's making a little bit of mistakes, and Mark can see that. Mark just took it.
Yes, Mark came through. We know he can do it to the back. We know he's super and entertaining in that format. And now Mark Laram is opening up a gap. There's another race developing into the back, because coming through is Jan Anderson in blue. All sorts of things happening here. It'll be another 3-all if it stays like this. But Mark Laram down that back straight with time to spare, with wheels in line, speed increasing with every turn of the wheel, and the checkered flag beckoning for the world champion elect as Mark Laram takes that for yet another heat win for him. In second place in red is Matty Furrier. Third in blue is Jan Anderson. Yet another 3-all, which is 5 times in 6 races so far tonight, and that means the visitors from Poole lead by 20 points to 16.
You see him right now, just making little. Matty looks over his shoulder and says, "Okay, I went a little bit wide, messed up. Mark, you go." Yeah, that's it. There's really not much more he can do.
Well, there wasn't much more he could do except make his way to our studio, where he's with Kelvin and Jonathan.
Yeah, Mark Laram's right here, and Matty Furrier pushed him all the way. It was a good race, but you got him in the end.
Yeah, that's right. The track's funny, so with a bit of drizzle we're having, just enough to aggravate the conditions a bit, So, yeah, I was up against it a bit, but he kept missing the corner, so I was just turning back and plodding away, and I got there.
Yeah, nice one, but he did make you work for it. You just seemed to sort of spin up coming off the start.
Yeah, the starts are weird. I'm so paranoid about, not missing them. I'm spinning a bit, which is quite unusual.
Don't be paranoid, please.
I'm paranoid.
But nice ride anyway, because like your first ride with Greg, that was a tough race. That was a hard first lap. But in that race, do you think that later on you'll be able to make some adjustments so you can get out the start?
Yeah, that's it. It's just either that or the track at the moment, they keep grading it back, and that makes it too much of a good track around the inside, as opposed to letting it drift out a bit wider. I think we'll get a bit better racing, but
right.
Every time they drag it back, that makes it too good around the inside, and if someone gets in front, they're going quite quick around the inside, you can't pass them.
Well, let's have a look at you in action here from the start. Maybe you can see a little bit closer now what you've been talking about.
See, on the start, I just lifted, hesitated momentarily, spun all the way to the corner.
Sure.
And I had to go off gate one, I weren't sure he was going to do, so I had to be a bit careful. And I know Matty, you can wear him down a bit sometimes. He starts off race good and then gets either a bit tired or... So I just kept plodding away, and they're going in wide there.
Yeah.
A bit too wide that time, really. But like I say, cut back there and I had a nice line, and he'd gone wide the once, so I was just hoping he was going to do it again, and he did, so...
Sure, I think you actually worried him into that, to be quite honest, because you were pushing him hard. He knew that you were going to be coming for him, and it looked like he sort of just got a little bit tight on the bike as he went round that bottom corner.
I just want to make a start, really.
Okay. You can do it.
And I'll be happy.
Before you go, got to ask you one thing. Obviously, leading the World Championship, we've been putting, talking you up and putting a little bit of more pressure on you, I'm sure. But how are you finding it? You've just done an interview with the SkySports.com as well. There's a lot more media stuff, a lot more work now involved in what you do every day, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of media attention, and whilst I'm grateful for it, obviously all the pressure is making it difficult. But I'm pretty easygoing. I tend to take it, and half an hour later I've forgotten all about it. So it's pretty good. There's no problem. I'm not going to sound like I don't appreciate it, because I do.
We'll put plenty more pressure on you later, but no, keep riding well.
Nice one,
Cheers.
There you back
See
to
you
the pits,
later on.
and as you can see, the riders are all...
Gary Havelock, the Poole captain in white on the inside. Next to him in red. 2 wins from 2 rides, Greg Hancock. Lars Goodestad for Poole in yellow, gate 3 on the outside. The veteran Jeremy Doncaster. The home team will try to close the gap here. And our starting marshal is patient. Our referee is Vic Bates up by the tapes, and away goes Greg Hancock once again. And he's got with him Lars Goodestad. And around the outside he goes. Goodestad putting Havelock under pressure. Coming through on the inside and proving a teammate to be proud of is Jeremy Doncaster. And that's exactly what they wanted. Gary Havelock eclipsed at the back again. But this is exactly what the home team wanted.
Yeah, I tell you, we do got Greg Hancock sitting up in front right now. Probably doesn't even realize that Jeremy's actually in second place with him right now. Oh, there he goes. He has a look now. He says, okay, we're there now. We got 5 points. What do I do? It's hard to slow down, as Mark says. It's a little bit dodgy out there. And actually, the bike, you need to keep the thing revved up going around there, because it will actually pull you past the corner. So Greg's just now saying, okay, I'll just cruise a little bit. He probably, look, there he is. Has a look.
Going wide, not hugging the inside, but if it stays like this, it'll be levelling up after 7 heats, because Greg Hancock is in front of his teammate and partner Jeremy Doncaster. Back in 3rd place, Lars Goodestad. Disappointment again for Gary Havelock, who's struggling tonight and set for a 4th place in this one, but a great win for the rider in a red. Greg Hancock ahead of his teammate and partner in blue, Jeremy Doncaster. That provides a 5-1 for the home team, and that now means it's 21-all with 7 races gone, and it's absolutely...
Things went good. I made a pretty reasonable start and was able to push Gunnestad wide in the first corner, and little did I know, but it allowed Doncaster to get a good run up the inside and came in for a maximum 5-1 situation, so that's good.
Greg, I feel as though you might be going for a maximum tonight.
Oh, well, I'm always gunning for those. It's recent weeks, things are coming good for me, and better late than never, as we say, and I feel good, so hopefully I can do enough for them tonight.
This track suits you, though, doesn't it?
This track really exceptionally good for me. It's a track that similar to what I would have grown up on at home, for really tight corners and a little bit of grip there, so you have to really manhandle the bike a little bit, and it makes me feel tough.
Well, that's because you are tough. All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you later on. Did you make any changes to your bike? Because in the first heat you went out, you were struggling, weren't you?
That's right, yeah. The first heat, was after the restart, I spun up a little bit, so we changed the clutch, changed the ignition time a little bit, so, that's made a remarkable difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
I better stop talking to you, because you are in the next heat, so hurry up and get yourself ready. Okay, let's go.
The tire sinking into the ground actually gives them that jump. So basically, they're all just trying to give themselves some room to get the jump.
There they are then. Nigel Sadler goes for Poole from the inside. Jeremy Doncaster gate 2 for Ipswich. Craig Watson for Poole in gate 3. And it's Jan Anderson on the outside in red. As our starting marshal looks to move away. Away they go. And on the inside there's a battle joined there. But look at the action here, because picking it up absolutely brilliantly here from gate 2 in the blue helmet colours. That is Jeremy Doncaster. That's what Ipswich are looking for. But they've got to get Jan Anderson into the action.
Yeah, Jeremy did it right. He got out in front right now, and Jan Anderson's now got to pick up the back end side of this race and make something out of it. And they are moving around on the racetrack, so if Jan's going to have a go, he's definitely going to be able to do it in this race. You can just see how much he's concentrating on the inside, but he's bobbling a little bit as well. He's just got to maintain that speed and get in there underneath him.
With half the race gone, Jeremy Doncaster has picked the right line. He's left the pack behind him to battle. It's going to be yet another 3-all if it stays like this, because Doncaster out front is having a great night at the moment in the blue helmet colours with a lap to go. The captain tonight for Ipswich is ahead of the man in yellow, Nigel Sadler, the guest reserve, in second place at the moment. He comes from Peterborough, but tonight he's riding as a guest here for Poole, the Aussie. Back in 3rd place is his teammate and partner, Craig Watson. Once again, that provides a share of the points at 3-all. It's now 24 points apiece with 8 heats gone. And the move of swapping the reserves there and bringing Jeremy Doncaster in for Chris Neath has been a superb one for the Ipswich team manager, Mike Smiley.
Where there's a little bit of dirt seems to be better, and we got Tony Swab up on the outside right now, and Mark's on the inside. So whoever gets to that dirt first, and Tony right now is due for something, and Matty's made good starts. He beat He beat Mark earlier out of the start, so it could happen.
Mark the Ram then on the inside for Poole. For Ipswich, it's Matty Thuryan in blue from gate 2. The Ram now on the inside gate this time. Away it goes. This time Mark the Ram makes the gate. Mark the Ram holds the apex of the bend. Going round on the outside and trying to track him is Tony's Farm. A battle at the back being won at the moment in blue by Matty Thuryan ahead of the man in yellow, Emil Lindquist. But Mark the Ram once again, once he's away from the tapes this time, and nobody will touch this man surely, although the track sand is looking a little bit greasy.
Yeah, I mean, Mark knew he had to get to that dirt first, and he just shut the door right there on Tony Schwab coming around the outside, but now he's in front, just weighing the track up. It probably settled the track down a little bit wet, made it a little bit easier to get in the corner, and you see Mark here just having a really good run right now, and basically he's winning it.
Well, Mark the Ram, a double-figure scorer in each of his last 12 Elite League matches. The form rider at the moment, an average of 10, and a great performer, and of course leading the Grand Prix Series. He's leading this heat by the proverbial street at the moment, ahead of Tony Schwab in second place. Back in third is Matty Thuryan in blue, and as they come round the top bend, with it staying like that, as the checker flag beckons, that means it's yet another 3-all, and it's now 27 points apiece, and it's still anybody's meeting, but Poole looking set to take the bonus point, and Mark the Ram taking his points total now to 8 from 3 rides.
Yeah, I'm off pace, and Mark was really quick, you know. I made a reasonable start. It's a bit slimy on the inside, and I thought I'm going to pass Mark on the outside, but he's just too experienced.
You're going in the next heat, you know, what are you going to do in this one?
Well, hopefully win, that's what I hope for. I mean, I'll try my best. Obviously, we want to score as much points as we can. So let's see, the gate 4 works quite well, so let's hope it's going to be good now.
It's very tight, isn't it? I mean, every point is absolutely imperative in this match.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Poole is a good team, and they're going well away, especially Mark and Scott. They like this track. I feel that Larson, what's his name? Can't remember now.
Tony, I'm just noticing that your mechanics are well, changing the back wheel. So just tell us what's going on here.
Well, we got a spare wheel, obviously because Chris is not riding today. So it's a new edge. So I'm going to use that one, and that should, you know, pull me to win the meeting, win the race.
Okay, well, in that case, you'll be speaking to Jonathan next if you win the next heat. So I'll let you get ready and carry on, and we'll go over now to Sam and Tony.
On the inside for Poole in yellow. For Ipswich, Jeremy Doncaster with a blue helmet colour. Gate 3, Gary Havelock for Poole in white. And Tony Schwab goes in red from the outside on a new tyre. The track perhaps started to get tricky with a little bit of grease, but well, there's a bit of experience. New tyre and all, looking to gain an advantage from it as our Starling Marshall moves away, and Tony Schwab does get away on the outside, does go round the outside, and now he can pick it up with that extra grip down the back straight. But out front and leading in yellow here is Lars Gunnestad, who tracked exactly as we thought he might have done. Once again at the back is Gary Havelock with disappointment from Poole, but the Ipswich pair in second and third with Tony Schwab and Jeremy Doncaster, and Havelock disappointing, but the trapping of Lars Gunnestad might tell him this one.
What a start by Lars Gunnestad to go out there and take advantage of that one. He gets right in the first corner. He's due for one of those. Now he's in front. That's upset the whole thing right now. So if Lars can just stay up on 2 wheels, because this is a tricky track sometimes, he'll be right.
Well, at the back, there's all sorts of things happening, but I'll tell you what, Gary Havelock has work to do, and he's trying at the back, but right now, it's certainly his teammate, Lars Gunnestad, who's shown the way home ahead of the home pair, but Lars Gunnestad going well in this one, and the man in the yellow helmet colour is going to lead from tapes to checkered flag. Ahead of him, second place in red there is Tony Schwab. Third in blue is Jeremy Doncaster. Yet another 3-all in the heat makes it 30 points apiece with 10 heats gone. And well, the time may have helped Tony Schwab, but his speed from the tapes made it. Leith, who struggled early on, the guest rider in blue, and on the outside, Scott Nichols. Tactical use of the reserve here, Sam?
Absolutely. I mean, the threat right now is going to be Scott Nichols off that outside gate. We keep talking about there's a little bit of dirt on the outside. In race conditions, that tends up to get that bit of dirt up there, and they go for it. But Greg's got to get to that corner first.
Never drawn, and Poole have only won once. I wonder what will happen. Away they go, and once again in red it's Greg Hancock, and round the outside goes Scott Nichols. The race is on. Scott Nichols down the back straight. Greg Hancock closes the gate on him. Nichols can't get round the outside. Hancock is in the middle of the track. Whoa, trying to get through there is Craig Watson, but out front the genius is at work once again.
Oh, Greg just made a little bit of a mistake there. He's just getting the pressure from, there goes Scott Nichols up the inside, and it pressures him into turn 3, and that looks really bad for Greg because he had that one won, but he made a little bit of a mistake. Maybe Scott Nichols will make the same mistake, and Greg's going to keep the pressure on him.
Nearly half the race to go. Greg Hancock can come back. A brilliant ride for Scott Nichols, the local boy here who now rides for Poole as he has done for the last 2 seasons. Hancock will try to come back, but Nichols, with 3/4 of a lap to go, is now leading this one. And if it stays like this, it will be the visitors who go in front, because tailed off at the rear is Chris Neath. But look at this, the checkered flag is going to the man in the white helmet colour. Scott Nichols ahead of Greg Hancock. In 3rd place in yellow, it's Craig Watson. That's the 4 points to 2 to the visitors. It's now 32 Ipswich, 34 Poole, who go into the lead and are set for the bonus point. And a fine ride by Scott Nichols.
Watch Greg going to the corner here, just overslides it. Oh, and then he corrects it and goes a little bit wide. Scott had lots of drive down that back straight and made a nice corner, and there he is, going for the front right there and squeezes up on Greg.
Patience is a virtue for Scott Nichols here.
Well, you know, Scott right now knows that he's got one thing to do, and he's got to go for the dirt. There's a mistake that Greg made. Greg just went a little bit too wide. Scott got his wheels in line, and now it's basically just a race for the next corner. Scott gets up on the inside of him right now and puts the pressure on Greg, and that was a classic move by Scott Nichols.
While the visiting riders who did so well in that one are in us.
Didn't quite make up for it. Made probably my best start all night, and that was still hopeless. But you know, I nearly managed to get the run. There's a bit of dirt working, but Greg just had the legs on me. But then, like, he was saying it's a bit tricky track conditions. Sort of just there's a grippy bit, and it just caught him, and I managed just to be able to get the run up the inside here, and you know, it's just a race to the next turn. But luckily, I was on the inside and managed to keep my momentum up and get the speed coming out.
And what are your few mistakes tonight, Greg?
Well, yeah, I think I kind of overcooked it there going in. I thought I had the right line, and I hit the throttle at the wrong time and caught a patchy bit there, and it took me past the corner, and I had a feeling I might have blown it, and I could hear Scott coming up after that, and I thought, oh well.
I don't know if Kelvin would agree, but turn 1, there looks to be a bit of patchy bit there. You mentioned it there, and turn 3.
Yeah, there is a couple of spots, and I think the last corner you hit one too. Just as I come through, I saw where he hit it, and then yeah, they seem to catch you off guard, but the track's riding pretty good. Otherwise, I think it's fast.
Yeah, you're coming out the start fantastic. It didn't look like you were going to put a wheel wrong, to be quite honest.
The bike feels like it's working perfectly, and I'm coming out of the start reasonably well, so I feel good about
reasonably well. Hey, what a modest man you are.
It makes me feel good. He's a bike length up on me.
But it was a great race to watch anyway, you know, because it could have been quite tight going in that turn, that third turn there.
That's it. There's a couple of times, you know, even the first lap, I wasn't sure how close he was to me on the outside. I tried to leave enough room to give him in there, but then when he went by me there, I wasn't sure how far to let it go. I didn't know if he was going to run for the dirt, and he left me loads of room. I just shut off.
Sound like you're enjoying your evening tonight?
Of course.
All right, and you?
Oh yeah, it's going okay at the minute.
And how are you going to take it? You've got the lead now.
Well, that's the important bit, is to try and hold on, you know. I mean, they're without Chris, so we've really got to try and take advantage of that. But, you know, let it sleep. Gary's having a bit of a bad night, but hopefully if the rest of us can pull together, and, you know, we've got to get a win tonight. That's what we're looking for, and take advantage of their loss.
And Greg, I know you're played to the crowd. They've been drizzled on. They've come out in their droves to see it. So you're going to give them something to cheer about?
Oh, I'm going to give it my best shot. You know, I'm here to do the job, and it's tough living up to Thomas Cola, but I'll keep practicing.
You're doing all right. Not bad. Okay. We'll let you get back to the pits and get sorted.
Nigel Sadler replaces Emil Lindquist as a reserve replacement for Poole in yellow. For Ipswich, Jeremy Doncaster goes in place of Chris Neath in blue. And on the outside, Gary Havelock, out of luck so far tonight, is on Boro Machinery. He's riding Lars Gunnarstad's bike. The second places tonight, the man in red. They look down at the tapes. This time, away they go. On the outside, Gary Havelock does it this time on a borrowed bike. Goes round all 4 riders and picks up the front. And Gary Havelock could produce the goods here for the Poole Pirates, their captain, as he goes by. Boro Machinery doing the trick, but the Ipswich riders packing in second place. Tony Spark, third in blue. That's Jeremy Doncaster, and problems at the back. But Sam, Gary Havelock's flying.
That was a class act by Gary. He just showed everybody that the odds are up against him, and he knows how to make it happen on borrowed equipment. And he's got a 3-all going at the moment. Tony Schwab is probably really discouraged with things right now. He should be out in front, but he's just going with it. And Jeremy's just coming up on the inside of him now. It's how close they're getting out there. They're just fighting the track.
Well, that was interesting there because Jeremy Doncaster almost took some damage to his teammate. Problems at the back for Nigel Sadler here. He's going to be pointless out of this one, but his captain Gary Havelock down the back straight in white helmet colours will take the checkered flag. That will produce yet another 3-all in white helmet colour there. Gary Havelock takes it ahead of him. Second place in red, Tony Sfarb. Third in blue is Jeremy Doncaster. That's our 9th 3-all scoreline of the night. It's now 35 to the home team Ipswich, 37 to the visitors from...
Last week has been like a week of hell for me, really. You know, everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. I've blown up engines. I've had about 10 breakdowns in about the last week. And
10 breakdowns?
Yeah, so I had 3 in one meeting, 2 in Sweden, and everything just going wrong. And I don't know what to do about it. It's not a good situation. That last race I went out on Lars Gunnarstad's bike, and it was such a difference. And you know, I'm not doing myself any favours, you know, because I made myself look like a fool, and I ain't in speed to look like a fool. I'm going to have a serious rethink.
Okay, but in the next heat that you go out in, are you going to ride Lars's bike again?
Yeah, I think I'm finished for the night now, but if I did, I probably would.
Okay, so it's not going to be a heat 15 for you tonight?
I doubt it very much.
Okay, well that's an unusual situation, but glad you managed to win a heat. You've just got hair on your face there. I'll move that for you. Thanks very much, well done. Let's go now to Sam and Tony.
Scott Nichols on the inside, Jan Anderson, Mark Laram gate 3, Greg Hancock on the outside gate 4. Remember, the visitors from Poole are wearing the white and the yellow helmets in 1994. Our starting marshal walks away, up by the tapes and away from the outside goes Jan Anderson. Greg Hancock to confound us all, leave them stranded. Jan Anderson's at the back, down the back straight in yellow goes Mark Laram. In white it's Scott Nichols, the big guns are out, but Greg Hancock in blue is absolutely flying once again.
Well, you think Greg had the pressure when Scott Nichols was behind him and actually made something out of him. How about having Mark Laram and Scott Nichols behind you? But Greg's got a good lead right now as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, and I'm sure he won't want to do that. He should take the 3 points.
Jan Anderson trading at the back. With these two in second and third, it'll be yet another 3-all, the 10th of the night. Down the back straight goes Greg Hancock, set for his 4th heat victory of the evening. Work to be done behind him for Mark Laram. Into the final lap. Hancock in blue leads down that back straight. Laram is in second place in yellow. Scott Nichols third in white. It's going to go to the final heat, this one, I'm sure. A tremendous ride once again by the guest rider, Greg Hancock, winning that in the blue helmet colours. Yet another 3-all. It's 38 to the home side Ipswich. It's 40 to the visitors from Poole with 2 heats to go. The handshake show the genuine comradeship of these two. And Mark Laram set for yet another.
Yeah, making really good starts, and the bike's working perfectly. So that time I got to use the extra wheel that the rider replacement is allowed to use, and it was positive. Chris said it wouldn't. I don't even need to ride the bike. I think he was right. It just went.
Is it me, or have you and Jeremy seem to have been out in every single heat tonight? You've been working really hard, haven't you?
I think I've done 5 so far, and I think he's done at least 5, maybe 6. So yeah, it's tough out there because of losing Chris, of course, but we keep fighting, and we're hanging right in there. It's just, I'm sure it's going to come down to the last heat.
Greg, it is probably going to come down to the last heat. It's still a couple of points to pull back there, isn't there?
Absolutely, I know. I think we're 2 down, aren't we, at the moment? But you know, if they can make something happen in Heat 14 just to give us a little bit of a chance, and then possibly, I don't know if it's Tony and I in the last one, but if we can make a half-decent start and get the necessary points.
So you haven't really made any decisions on Heat 15 yet?
I don't think so. I'm not really sure. I think that they've asked me if I would do it, and of course I'm ready for it. So let's just hope that the rest of the guys are too.
Okay, all right, thanks very much.
It's his 498th appearance for Ipswich tonight, Jeremy Doncaster, a cause for celebration. Matty Furrion goes in the red helmet colours, but on the inside is Jeremy Doncaster. For Poole, it's Lars Gunnarstad in white and Nigel Sadler, the reserve and guest, in yellow. Yeah, blue, it's Poole, the away team, in white and yellow and black. As our starting marshal walks away for the penultimate heat, and it's Lars Gunnestad who makes it from the Tapes, and Lars Gunnestad for the visitors, but down the back straight goes Matti Furjan. The gate is closed on him, and Furjan has work to do, but it's a battle royal here, because through is Jeremy Doncaster into third place. At the rear now, it's Nigel Sadler, but they're flying out front, and there's a real battle on with Lars Gunnestad down that back straight, jetting from the Tapes, and holding off the challenge from Matti Furjan.
Yeah, Matti had his best chance to go around Lars, because Lars wasn't sure he was coming, but basically messed up a little bit going in the corner, but he's still digging for the outside dirt right now. If he can just get up alongside of Lars like he's doing right now, trying to go for it, it could just disturb Lars enough to make a mistake, so he's putting the pressure on him.
When he's in front, Lars Gunnestad seems to have it all his own way, and he's now, with 3/4 of the lap to go, looking towards that checkered flag. Matti Furjan is having to work behind him, but Lars Gunnestad is going to earn his third heat victory of the night here, and this could swing it the way of the Poole Pirates. Second place goes to the man in red, Matti Furjan. Third is Jeremy Doncaster in blue. Yet another 3-all, and we go to the final heat with 2 points in the meeting, because it's Ipswich 41, it's Poole 43. Poole assured of the ball 2 to the home team here would create the first ever draw. Samo Malenko, anything can happen.
This is very neutral at the moment. They've all been on this track. They know what's going on. Greg's got it all to go for right now off that outside gate. He's got Scott Nichols on the inside of him, which could be a threat. But if Mark Laram gets to that first corner, he's going to move straight up in that dirt, so Greg's going to make sure he gets a dominated one. But Tony Schwab, it could open up a hole inside for him. If everybody goes after that dirt, he can sneak underneath it, and I'm sure that's what Chris Louis was telling him.
Poole already set for the bonus point with the 11-point victory last night. Away they go. Mark Laram on the inside holds it. Round the quick from the outside comes Greg Hancock.
That's what I said. Whoa!
Right here, because Tony's farm is putting pressure on Mark Laram. Round the outside goes Scott Nichols. Looking back is Greg Hancock. Hancock's away. This could level it up if it stays like this. What a finish!
I tell you what, I read it as I seen it. Tony Schwab cut back on the inside, probably on the advice of Chris Louis. Right now, Greg Hancock made the best gate he could possibly make off gate 4, and that now is a 4-2 right now to Ipswich.
If it stays like this, it'll be the first ever draw here between the two teams. But look what's happening at the back. Scott Nichols is putting pressure on Tony's farm. Out front with a lap and a quarter to go. In blue, it's Greg Hancock in front. Mark Laram in second place. The match could be decided on the third place. At the moment, held by Tony's farm. Down that back straight, Greg Hancock picks it up. It's going to be 45 all if it stays like this. That's exactly what's going to happen. But look at Scott Nichols. Tony's farm holds it in third place in red. I'm absolutely certain. The applause of the fans. 4 points to 2 was the margin. It's 45 all, and that means for the first time ever the teams have drawn here. And look at that, in yellow there is Mark Laram in second place, and as we see the tape going forward, Tony's farm it is here in the red helmet colour, just ahead of Scott Nichols to ensure the 4-2 heat points advantage. And that means that it's all ended. Ipswich 45, Poole 45. A tremendous night Speedway. The wheelies show the ability of Greg Hancock. A tremendous night for him, with no fewer than 5 heat victories and 17 points in total. The fireworks are flying on and off the track here. A great finish, giving the result of that final heat to the rider in blue there, Greg Hancock. A guest he may have been, but a very, very welcome one at this house party.
Just cuts back hard. He's going to cut back underneath Tony Schwab to try and get something, but he stays up high there. Basically, they just got this one lined up.
A tremendous race, and the work done by Tony's farm, who's got 11 points tonight. The finish there, that was Greg Hancock in blue, Mark Laram in second place, and look at the tight third place as we freeze it on the line. It's Tony's farm, the twice Czech champion, who has earned a point that has been...
I'm glad I enjoyed myself tonight, and I'm glad that we were able to pull off a draw. Tony probably worked really hard for that in the last race to get the 4-2 that we needed, and I feel good.
Kelvin, I know, wants to jump in here, but I've got a question for you. Gate 4, we saw you deliberating whether you'd go from there, and I said I thought you would because of the start you had in the heat before that.
Exactly. I mean, it made such a good one the heat before. The thing it launched right from the word go, and Tony and I sort of hemmed and hawed, and he wasn't sure what he wanted, and I thought, looking at the circumstances, I could make a good one here and clamp them, and it just.
Hey, somebody wants to say well done.
Good job, Gregory.
Thanks, man.
Sam's in here.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, takes a world champion to know a world champion on great form, and it really was.
Here, so.
Yep, there's a few here.
Sure.
So no, it was good. It's nice to got the encouragement from the boys here too, and like I say, I felt good tonight. My bike was working good. We were talking about I rode a short stroke, which I don't ride very often, and Eddie Bull's been working on this one really hard, and he's made quite the setup here, so we're great.
We've been talking. You said at the beginning of the evening, your own form is getting better, and you do feel more comfortable. What do you put it down to?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I've made so many changes this year, right? Changing from the Jawa and from the GM and the Antique frame to a complete Jawa setup, and I think a lot of it was down to that to start with. But we're finding a happy medium now, and I've changed my handlebars a little bit, and I've changed the motors a little bit, gone back to an old style clutch setup that I used to use over the last couple of weeks, and
are we saying we're going back to basics or what?
We're going back to basics, pretty much, yeah.
Well, it's a sensible thing to do, though, isn't it? Because sometimes you're going down so many different avenues, you sort of get so confused, and sometimes you get to a point where you've got to say, well, hang on, let's just start again and see where we go from there.
That's exactly the truth, and I've got to that point. I know we've had numerous conversations about it, and at this stage I've taken everything back to the way it was before when it did work, and it's working again.
I'm supposed to be the neutral guy here, but you done me proud, brother.
Stay with us a sec, but one man you've made very happy tonight is Chris Louis. He's with Susie Perry.
Thanks, Greenie. Is he on a win bonus tonight or what, Chris?
I don't know, he seems quite chuffed, so I guess he must be. But no, he should be chuffed. He's done a brilliant night's work. He's had some tough races out there, especially with people like Mark and Scotty, and he's done fantastic for us,
What about Heat 15 there? That was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, I must admit, it looked real tough down on paper, I mean, Scotty knows his way around here, equally Mark does, and I had a feeling Greg was going to pop out, but it hadn't really been Tony's night. He'd been struggling with bikes and things, and swapped bikes, and he went out there and did the business.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean it was so close at the end there, wasn't it? Almost like a photo finish with Scott, but he's really gutted actually. He doesn't really want to talk to us about that, but never mind. But great, a great draw tonight for Ipswich.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my heart said we could win tonight, but I think realistically I thought that Poole would turn us over, to be honest, because without myself and without Thomas, I knew Greg could do a good job, but I just didn't know if we could hold them off. They are on a bit of a roll now, and now that they've got a full squad, I think they were made stronger actually with Nigel Sadler instead of maybe Alan Rossiter, because Roscoe doesn't always go well here. So I think the lad's done exceptionally well.
Well, good to see you smiling anyway, and a great draw tonight, and it's the
on the inside.